Hey, welcome or welcome back. It is, as always, good to see you. It's still Monday. And we have another Amberlynn read video for you today. This one is simply titled, I'm Done, and it has 6 dots maybe. Yes, ... Day 15 weigh-in vlog. So, I'm going to operate under the assumption here by the thumbnail where she's looking a little sad, upset, frustrated that she's going to be done with her 15 days or her 100 days of weighing in, because she's probably frustrated that she's not seeing the scale move down, even though she's not really trying to lose weight. So she sees, oh, I didn't binge or I didn't overeat, why am I not losing weight? But she's not tracking her calories to really know what she is eating as far as her caloric intake. So that's my guess. Let's hop on in here and see what our girl has to say and what she's done with. November 17th is our day.
Hello.
Oh, well, she's looking a little glam today with her Cruella de Vil coat on and her earrings. Hair's a little messy, but hey, when has, no room to talk.
To a new video. Today is day 15, November 17th. So I'm going to show you guys my weigh-in, just get that right out of the way. So I was 504.4.
Oh, she's went down from her previous weigh-ins, so maybe it's not the weigh-ins she's done with.
Okay, which means I have 48.2 to go to reach my first mini goal of 456.2. And I lost over 2 pounds. I lost like 2.4 overnight because yesterday was an intuitive eating day. So that means I was on track yesterday, which makes me really happy. I'm on track 9 times out of 10. I'll either lose a little bit of weight, stay the same, or gain a couple ounces. But then it's like when I overeat or when I binge, that's when I like gain like a lot of weight. And through this whole situation type deal, we can definitely tell based on like the days where I've been.
Through this whole situation type deal. Through the whole 15 days that you've been doing your weigh-ins, I assume you mean?
How much I've gained, days where I've been intuitive, how much I've lost, or just like stayed the same. I know you guys see me here a lot. This is actually my desk. I don't know if you guys know that. I have a gallery wall.
I was gonna say, I see a cattail back there in the shadows.
My girlfriend has her desk right next to mine. We have matching desks. This is actually the office. I sit in here to do a lot. I watch my YouTube in here. I edit my videos in here.
I spend probably 95% of my time right here. I feel you, girl.
There's always a Rarity in here.
Hey, kitty.
She's always obsessed with me, and I'm always obsessed with her.
You're such a sweet cat.
We're just obsessed with each other. It's just like, best friends unite, I do my hobbies in here. I do literally everything in here. I eat my meals in here 9 times out of 10. Sometimes I'll eat them in front of the TV, but it's just majority of my time is spent in here because this is where I do everything. That's why you guys are seeing me in here a lot. So I'm wearing my Cruella de Vil cardigan. It's the first time. Yep. It's a size 4 I got from Torrid. I wish I would have gotten a size smaller. Oh my god, I'm getting cat fur all over it. No! I like my cardigans to be like,
I mean, it's fitting for it to have animal fur on it. I mean, it should be, Dalmatian fur, but, picky.
Smaller. I don't want them to be like super overpowering. It depends. If they're more like sweatshirt style, like let's be comfy, then okay, maybe we can get it like normal size or a little bit bigger so it's like a comfy vibe. But I particularly wanted this cardigan to be like more like fit. Hello. So it's been like the whole day since I last spoke to you guys, and I am in the same spot. Actually have not been here all day. I had an appointment today and stuff, but I was just sitting here. I was actually snacking on some black olives. I love olives. They're so good, and it just helps with a certain type of craving that I get. So
maybe a salty
it's nice
craving.
To have olives in the house because they do not trigger me as much as other foods. So, but I was receiving a bunch of Instagrams today of people spelling beautiful in a really weird way, and I was like, what's happening? Okay, when I say a bunch, I mean like 10.
Because you don't know how to spell it, and you spelled it incorrectly, which I pointed out in both videos as well.
So I was like, okay, the trolls are out tonight. I love that. And it's because of this. So right here in my little poster you guys recently saw. Here, let me flip it around and show you guys. Right here it says beautiful, but as you can see, happy accidents, mistakes are normal. This was on purpose.
Oh, okay. I see the dashes here. When she was holding it up, you couldn't see the dashes being like beautiful. So she did it on purpose, apparently.
But I wanted a section on here where it's just like, you know what? Accidents happen, mistakes are normal, it's okay, that's life. I kind of wanted that on here. But yeah, I wanted to clarify, I do know how to spell. I do know how to spell the word beautiful, don't worry.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say you know how to spell in general, maybe.
It was on purpose. And then I was also sitting here thinking like, should I continue my 100 days of weigh-in video?
Oh, video. Maybe she's going to quit the video portion but keep doing it.
Form. Because I'm going to do it regardless.
Are you?
My goal was to do it in my personal life, regardless of if I show it or not. And I just figured, why not also show it on YouTube? Because I've tried the whole 100 days of weigh-in, particularly for YouTube. It wasn't really like for personal reasons. It was just, I wanted to do it for YouTube. I thought it would be a fun challenge and for other people to do it with me. But this time's different. Like I want to do it like for myself and by myself. But I just figured, you know what? I'll vlog it while I'm doing it. And I'm just wondering if I should like take that out of my videos and kind of just do it privately, because I noticed that I am being a lot more, especially the first few days, I was a lot more like open about my eating and my binging. But then ever since like I stopped Ozempic and then keto, and then, you know, I was very honest that I binged on Chips Ahoy and stuff, and it's like people are so brutal, and that in itself is triggering for any eating disorder, for people to shame you.
Of course people are going to be rude about it. I mean, it's just how people are.
No matter what eating disorder it is brutal. Like I can't go on any social media platform without seeing just like shame. And I'm just like, damn, that's not going to help me. So I don't really know what you're trying to do here. So I don't know. Right now, currently, I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely going to continue it in my personal life, weighing myself every day until February 11th is not that difficult. I just naturally like to weigh myself.
Isn't it though? I mean, you've tried this before.
Anyways, but it's like, do I want to continue filming it? So that is currently where my head is at on November 17th. Do I want to continue filming this? Because it just seems like this is a beautiful way, a beautiful way for people to just like judge and be really exceptionally cruel. It's like a large portion of people forget that eating disorders are chemical. It's not something that you just choose to have. It's not something that one day you just wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to have an eating disorder anymore.
Of course not. People realize that. But it's because you've been claiming binge eating disorder for so long and have never sought out help for it to try to get better and get over it. And we aren't seeing any progress in finding better ways to cope. I have said, and I will say again, that it seems like she's getting better with her food consumption in her binge. She's not eating a 20-piece nugget and a Big Mac, a large fry, and apple pies. I don't know. She's eating a smaller quantity of food in a binge. So I will say that is a good thing. A whole pack of Chips Ahoy, that's a lot of cookies. But it's a lot of calories, too, for those cookies. I think she said it was, what, like 1,700? So even eating something that looks as smallish as a full pack of Chips Ahoy is most people's daily caloric intake. So at least the quantity of food is getting a little smaller, it looks like, but the calories are not. And I will say that might be a little bit of progress. If she could make more progress in figuring out what's triggering these binges recently, that would be even better.
I just find it really frustrating, the community that surrounds my channel, and it breaks my heart to see, like, I get Instagram messages of people just like, you know, I read your comments and I also suffer with an eating disorder. People who suffer with the opposite of what I suffer with and people who suffer with the same thing I do. And they're just like, wow, you know, they made me feel like shit about myself, the comments. It's like, for some of you guys to read the comments and feel just as bad after reading them. Like, that breaks my heart. It's like, maybe if I talk less about my binging and my weight, then the comments reflecting those topics will lessen. So then,
They won't.
you know, me and you guys can stop feeling like utter crap.
They won't, but I will say that Amberlynn sharing her journey, if we could call it that right now, is probably helpful to some people on some level. Some people that suffer with the same issues that she does. Um, but I mean, I don't suffer with binge eating disorder, so I can't relate to it. I mean, I do overeat sometimes because, I mean, hey, I do like food. But people being just nasty do need to remember that other people do read those comments, and you may not only be attacking Amberlynn.
Because we binge eat or we restrict or we have whatever eating disorder it is, because people shouldn't be judged for those things. People shouldn't be judged for their addictions. I think it's disgusting. I don't share my journey to be judged or speculated on. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's part of YouTube. That's just a disgusting way of saying, oh.
It Putting yourself out there, putting videos online showing these things does set you up for criticism, and it does set you up for people to have commentary on it. That's what we're doing as reaction channels, and it's just the nature of the beast. um, I would like to see Amberlynn get better and get healthier. That's I would love to see that, which is why I try to give constructive criticism. Sometimes I do get a little snarky in my comments, but I would love to see her get better, work with her therapist or psychologist, and find ways to cope with her binge eating.
We'll deal with it. No, we need to work on, as a society, being able to be open and not fear bullying or harassment or just like really horrible things said to us. It's just a lot of like, if you don't want people to be rude to you, don't talk about it. Instead of, we need to take the people who bully and harass and say horrible things offline. Like, it's too much of the wrong thing, if that makes sense. But while we're here and I'm contemplating what I
You're always going to have trolls. You're going to always have people being nasty and mean, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter. You could be fit and in shape, and you're going to have people commenting nasty things on your channel as well. There's always going to be nasty, rude people, regardless of what your journey is or what you're sharing. Because some people are just awful people and love making others feel bad. Um, but again, I do think a lot of, I haven't read Amberlynn's comments, but ones that I have read previously on things, which is like, oh, people are being nasty and mean. A lot of it was people giving good constructive criticism, and they weren't being nasty and mean about it. And I think Amberlynn hasn't learned how to take constructive criticism yet. She thinks anything that isn't, you know, validating everything that she feels and saying, yeah, absolutely, yes, everything. She seems to feel that that is hate, and that isn't always the case.
want to do, I do want to answer
That's just my observation. I could be wrong, but that's what it appears to be.
a hot topic that's going around is, what do you mean that you're just as triggered eating broccoli versus eating cookies? So when I'm eating broccoli, in my head, I correlate bad and good food. This is something I talked to my psychologist about. We've already discussed this, so you don't have to sit there and say, talk to a professional about this. It's already been spoken about. We've already talked about it. She's already, tried to give me tips to help me, etc., etc. She gave me like the backstory of why people are like this, because I'm not the only one. Don't come for me. So the reason why things like broccoli or just like healthy foods, whole foods, no matter what it is, triggers me is because when you grew up like me, or you grew up with an eating disorder or constant like calorie counting, this and that, when you think of certain foods, you think of bad foods and you think of good foods. And when I'm eating broccoli or like say green beans or something just like really healthy, because when I eat like broccoli and stuff, I don't put cheese, I don't put things like that. Like I steam my broccoli and I call it a day. I don't put anything on it unless I'm like mixing it with like a marinara sauce because I'm having it with spaghetti. Like 9 times out of 10, if I'm having pasta with broccoli, I like to mix it, but usually broccoli is just like a side. But anyways, broccoli is just an example. So obviously when I think of broccoli, I think of like, okay, this is good food. and it triggers me into thinking about the bad food, like from how I've treated myself with my eating disorder, my addiction, etc., etc. Like if I'm eating broccoli, then I'm like punishing myself because I'm telling myself I can't have bad food and I can only have good. And by doing that, you're taking away moderation. And my psychologist tries to teach me that someone with binge eating needs moderation. And 9 times out of 10, if I am eating broccoli, then I'm also eating something super healthy. So my brain subconsciously is like, oh, you can never have bad food again. You can only eat this good food. So then it makes it to where I want bad food more than I've ever wanted it. It's kind of like if you tell a kid they can't touch their Christmas toys, then they're going to want to touch their Christmas toys. If you tell a kid they can't go into a certain bedroom in the house because there's something in there, then the kid's going to want to. It's that type of thing. If you tell someone they can't do something, they're going to want to do it even more. So my psychologist has tried to explain that to me a little bit more and things that I can do.
Absolutely. I just want to interject before I forget what I'm thinking of. Yeah, thinking of food as good and bad isn't usually the best mental space to be in when it comes to food when you're trying to lose weight. Because food isn't good or bad. Food doesn't have those attributes. Food may have higher calories and fewer good nutrients than good food. So, looking at food as good and bad can really mess with your mind, especially when you're trying to lose weight, especially when you have an eating disorder, because then you feel like you're restricting yourself. Like she mentioned, oh, I can't have the bad food, like the Chips Ahoy that she binged on. That would be a bad food in her mind, and broccoli is good. So, trying to get out of that mindset of having food into good and bad categories is something that she really should work on and just see food as food. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just food, it's fuel for the body, it's nutrients. If I want something sweet, I'll have something sweet. I'm just not going to eat an entire tub of ice cream or an entire pack of Chips Ahoy. Like she said, moderation. And Amberlynn struggles with moderation and ends up eating the whole thing, or she sees the broccoli as punishment. I like broccoli as well. She likes broccoli, so I don't know why she would see it as punishment because she enjoys broccoli. So trying to get out of that mindset of the black and white, food is good and bad, is something that I think a lot of people need to work on.
And what she explains is like, try your hardest not to think of food, bad food, good food. Just think of food as food. And it's just like, it's so hard to do, especially like being on YouTube, because no matter what I eat, like I just showed you guys I was having olives, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of complaints about that. People are gonna be like, oh my God, so much sodium. Oh my God, this is so bad for you. And it's like, as someone with binge eating, you can't look at foods as good and bad. You have to just look at them as fuel. I don't know, it's really confusing. And
that's what I just said. Yeah, even are there foods that are healthier for you and better for your body? Absolutely. But as you're trying to get over an eating disorder, you should probably, again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, it's just my opinion. Take it for what it is. You should just look at food as food and work on eating in moderation and not overdoing it. Of course, also with foods that are less nutritious, you're going to not feel as full. So whereas if you eat something that has like more protein or more fiber, you're going to stay fuller longer. As opposed to if you eat the same amount of calories in, let's say, cookies, you're not going to be as full for long because they're not as nutritious, and you're going to be hungrier again because they're not going to be very, very filling. So trying to work on eating foods that will keep you satiated longer might be something to work on as well.
Unfortunate that, it's just constant battles in my brain, regardless of what I'm eating. And it's like the practice of eating in itself, like chewing, swallowing, like, I don't know how to explain it, but just like the practice of eating is very triggering in itself. Like if I'm eating a carrot because
the process of eating is triggering. That sounds like a bigger issue than just binge eating.
I want something crunchy, my brain automatically thinks of, wow, I wish I was eating chips. And then when I start thinking of chips, sometimes I truly cannot control myself and I'll order chips from Instacart or whatever it may be. And if I'm eating, like, I'm trying to eat healthy yogurt to get the goods, you know, because some yogurts are really good for you, like Greek yogurts. If I have that in my mouth, I can't help but think of ice cream, and then I'll get triggered into that. And then
make ice cream out of the Greek yogurt, freeze it. Freeze some bananas and put them in with it and put it into a blender, and that's ice cream.
It's just,
you can have some healthier versions of bad foods, or the foods that Amberlynn sees as not as good for her. I find the act of chewing and swallowing to be triggering. Maybe she didn't mean it that way, but that seems like a much larger issue.
I don't know. It's hard. It's overwhelming. Like, I think that side of it is very, like, the food addict side of it, because I can imagine people who are addicted to other things. Like, if you're addicted to drugs and, like, you do one type of drug, you're going to want to do the other type of drug. Or if you hang out with a friend who does it, then you're going to be triggered into doing this. Like,
I don't know about that first part, because people always say that marijuana is a gateway drug. It's not. Now, being around other people doing the drugs could be triggering. So
just stop eating. And that's the unfortunate part. It's just like, wouldn't it be easier if I could just stop eating and we could just, like, survive off of not eating? That would be pretty great.
Hey, there are people that are, let's see, what's it called? Breatharians?
I tell you, maybe 1% of the food pyramid makes it to where I'm not triggered, and olives follows under that. I'm grateful for olives, let me tell you. But it's just like everything triggers me for one reason or another. And it's like, if you don't understand that, or you've never been through that, then call yourself.
I don't understand that, because having every food trigger you seems like a much larger issue than just a binge eating disorder. That possibly is a food addiction, maybe? That seems like a much, much larger issue that needs to be dealt with.
Lucky, for sure. And it's not that, like, oh, broccoli's gonna make me triggered so I can binge on broccoli. No, I'm also suffering with a food addiction, and with food addiction, it's like junk. I want the junk. So if something healthy, quote unquote, triggers me, then I'm gonna still go for the unhealthy food, because my food addiction comes in. I can't just sit there and binge on broccoli. My body won't let me. I don't think I've ever binged on, like, anything super healthy like that. I wish. That would be pleasant. That would be nice. My body would probably love that.
So, since she does see foods as good, bad, and she needs to work on that, what she could maybe try to do is make healthier versions of things that she considers to be bad foods, like cookies or brownies or chips or something. She can either purchase or make healthier versions of these types of things that actually use better ingredients, healthier ingredients, but they still give that kind of satisfaction of eating something sweet. And I don't know if she'll ever do that. I mean, it would be more effort on her part. She already spends a lot of money on groceries and takeout and food, so buying more ingredients that are a little more expensive shouldn't be an issue for Amberlynn. But maybe she should work on trying to find healthier alternatives that won't make her gain 5 pounds if she eats a whole pack of them, and still have that satisfaction of having something that's sweet or salty or something that's not healthy, while she's working on trying to not see food as good and bad. Because maybe even doing that, having these healthier versions, she could be like, oh, this is supposed to be a bad food, but it's not. Maybe that can help her get over that.
But no, if I'm getting triggered by anything, whether it be something that happened in my life, or a food that I'm eating, or a thought that I'm feeling, or an emotion, or whatever it may be, I am triggered into eating bad food regardless. So maybe that explains it a little bit. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just like, seeing someone and talking to them about like what I'm going through, they make me feel normal in a way. Like every time I have an appointment, it's just like an hour of me feeling normal instead of me feeling just like attacked or ashamed or someone who's like unhealthy. Like I just feel normal for a minute. But sadly, this is probably going to be the last time I talk about my binging or my food struggles for a while on my channel, because I just feel like in this moment, I want to be able to have a free mind. I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm being put in a box a little bit. Like people want.
Her left arm starting to look bad over here. Oh, you can't see my mouse, but her left arm, or her, yeah, left arm. She's been picking at it.
To want me to open up so bad, but then when I do, it's like they're trying to shove me in a box and make me someone I'm not. They like put words in my mouth. Like people say that I'm a bad storyteller, so they have to like fill in the lines themselves.
Yeah, because you are. You are. You're bad at explaining things. You're bad at telling the story. You're bad at relaying information. There's too many gaps typically.
It's not that I'm a bad storyteller. It's just I can't tell you every single last drop of everything medical related in my life. Like
you are. Even without that, you are.
No, that's not like possible. I do my best explaining things, and like the whole thing with my gallbladder, like recently people are like, she's not explaining this gallbladder story like very well. Like why can't she get it taken out? Blah, blah, blah. Because of my size. I've tried to explain that, and I don't know. I just feel like people
she's too big.
Want to be confused so people can think that I'm lying about stuff, and it's just like, I don't.
She did mention her weight as one of the factors and as to why they haven't removed her gallbladder. And she doesn't have a complete blockage. So until she gets a complete blockage or bad blockage, even if she did have a big blockage, what they might do is just go in and remove the blockage, but leave the gallbladder for now. I know whenever, again, my gallbladder, I went in on Thursday, Friday morning, they went in, removed the blockage, put in a stent, and then Saturday morning I had the surgery to remove my gallbladder. And then a week, 10 days later, whatever, 2 weeks, I don't know, I had to go back and have the stent removed. So even if she were to get a blockage in her gallbladder, they would probably just remove the blockage for now and wait until maybe another blockage or until it keeps happening more and more to actually remove the gallbladder.
I just feel like I need to take the binging and the medical talk away, and just focus very much on like, this is what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. Just showing you guys what I'm doing instead of like having these deep discussions, because it's not helping me at all. And I just want to do things that make me feel better. And as of right now, talking about stuff like this is not making me feel better. So now I just have to decide if I actually want to continue the weigh-ins on here. I guess we'll see.
Well, I guess we will see. I doubt she does. I doubt she's going to keep showing us. She might show us maybe every other, I don't know, maybe every week, once a week she might show us the weigh-in. But if she's not talking about her binge eating or weigh-ins or anything, I don't know what she's going to talk about. Because that's all she's been showing us lately, which is fine for me, because she's showing us part of her journey and what she's working on and her struggles, which I think makes her more relatable to people, but it also sets her up for more criticism, which is going to happen because of who she is and because of things she's done in the past, because she is stuck in this cycle. And I don't know how she can get out of it, to be honest. Yeah, she has to work on this binge eating disorder with her psychologist more to figure out, I mean, because if it's, oh, what's triggering me is just the food itself, well, that's a problem. I mean, her psychologist is probably at a loss as to what to do. I don't even know. So the active eating is triggering. That's a huge fucking problem. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But until next time, I hope you all have a lovely week and be safe and take care.